Hello and welcome to another weekly astrological forecast with me. I'm Natha Campanella. This was an interesting forecast to put together because life as we know it is very different than it was last week. I have been talking about shifts and changes really since December when we began the eclipse cycle that involved the Pluto-Saturn conjunction. And I believe that a lot of what's happening now is very connected to those things. And I am not an astrologer that's going to read astrology in a very doom and gloom kind of way, because that doesn't work for my nervous system. And I know that it doesn't work for most of you who are watching these forecasts. And this week is no different. You know, we have some intense astrology that is continuing. And I'm going to talk about it. But I'm going to give you some ways that you can help manage yourself, your nervous system, the people around you, because ultimately what's really happening right now is the worst of it is coming from our own brains, our own tendency to awfulize and project and fear the future. So let's talk about that. So March 16th through the 22nd, we have Mercury hitting the sign of Pisces again. Mercury was in retrograde. The transit isn't over yet. Mercury turned backward, or it appeared to turn backward in the sign of Pisces on February 17th. It went all the way back to Aquarius, and now it has turned direct again, but it has to cover all of those degrees in Pisces that it went retrograde in. So technically the transit doesn't end until March 30th. So we're still in that. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because Mercury in Pisces can activate some of our fears and our illusions and our projections. So we want to keep that in mind, that Pisces as a sign can, it's very much about magic and intuition, but it can also really activate our merginess with the collective. And so if people outside of us are panicking and feeling unstable and insecure, there's a good chance that we're going to feel that for them. But your job as somebody that is a light worker, and I'm just going to presume that if you're listening to this, that you are, your job is to work with transmuting some of that fear and reality checking. And in as much as you can, being very aware of when you're getting caught up in things that, let's put it this way, in the untamed sides of your brain versus the tamed sides, okay? So if you are just going crazy and projecting the worst future possible, not helpful. It's time to take a deep breath, practice some breathing, practice some yoga, come back into the here and now. I am a person with a body, I am breathing, I am okay. Because that is how you can be of the most service. Ground your own fears and anxieties, because that will also be a snowball effect out into the collective. So Mars is the big focus of the week. Mars is our energy, action, drive, power, will, connection to anger. And Mars is making a number of really important connections this week. Mars has entered Capricorn and now has to go through and hit all of the planets that are in a stellium in Capricorn. And this will happen over this week. The first connection it's making is with Pallas Athene. Pallas Athene is an asteroid. She's the feminine warrior principle. Mars is the masculine. So we have the two warrior principles coming together to collaborate in the sign of Capricorn. Mars moves into action. Mars is assertive and aggressive. And Mars can be, especially in Capricorn, security seeking, wanting tangible security. Pallas Athene, with a more feminine approach, says, connect with the divine feminine for deeper insights. Connect with ancient wisdom for accessing higher levels of consciousness. So we have access to power this week within ourselves, and we really want to balance both of those. Our ability to get what we need, to make things happen, to have a will and a drive, but also to use wisdom that we've gathered, right? This isn't just Mars rushing into action without thinking. This is looking at the lay of the land, looking at the big picture, looking at what we have learned in the past so that we can take it and move positively into the future. Okay, so on the 19th, Mars is going to come into conjunction with Jupiter. Jupiter, the skill set of Jupiter is making meaning and being able to see things through varying perspectives, the perspectives of other people that are different than we are. And this is important because Mars in Capricorn might want us to run out and hoard and each for his own. But Jupiter says, Jupiter makes things that it touches bigger, so that could be exacerbated. Or, once again, you can use your power that you have at your disposal to remember that we are all neighbors, that this is a time to come together, not to separate, and that we are not alone. We are not doing this alone. Everybody is in the same boat, okay? So Saturn enters Aquarius on the 22nd, and Saturn has been in the sign of Capricorn for the last few years. So this is a big energetic shift, one that I'm hoping will bring us the ability to see things through a more intellectual lens. Aquarius allows us to become more brilliant, to revolutionize the way that things have been. So I'm hoping that this will bring us some of that, some ability to think outside of the box. And then finally, Mars is coming into connection with Pluto. This is big. Pluto and Mars understand each other. Mars is the lower octave of Pluto, so there are a lot of similarities in this energy. Pluto wants us to evolve. Pluto wants us to awaken to the truth. And so expect that this week will bring us some intense drive to evolve and also some brutally clear self-analysis. Who do you turn into when the going gets rough? Do you like it? Does it serve you? Where do you tend to go immediately under stress? Is it working? So there's a lot of food for thought for us this week. I am putting together a free offering. I'm not sure what day this week we're going to offer it. I'm collaborating with a few amazing healers who are in my circle, and stay posted for that because we are going to be talking about empowerment and how to have agency and how to really use the fear and transmute it into courage during this time, okay? And then I'm also working on putting together a reading where we look into your natal chart and we look at Mars and Pallas Athene and get some really specific, clear, laser-focused insight into how you can support yourself and support the people around you in this time when things are unsure, because we all have an inner warrior. We all have capacity. We've all been doing a fair amount of emotional work so that we can be fortified for times like this when things feel unstable. All right, as always, leave me your comments, share this with people that might need it, and you can find me at nathacampanella.com if you'd like to work with me privately. All right, have a great week. Bye.